In this pencast, we're asked to solve and then understand and describe relationships between the x-intercepts of a graph and the solutions of an equation. So we're asked to solve x squared minus 3x equals negative 2 by setting the equation to 0 and graphing it. Then we're supposed to solve the same equation by factoring and compare the results. So first, to set the equation equal to 0, we just need to add both sides by 2. So we have x squared minus 3x equals negative 2. Adding 2 to both sides gives us x squared minus 3x plus 2 equals 0. To graph this, we can set that equal to y and then plug in different values of x to get the corresponding y value. So if we say y equals x squared minus 3x plus 2, let's choose x to equal 0, 1, 2, and 3, which means y will equal the following results. If x equals 0, we get 0 minus 0 plus 2 equals 2. If x equals 1, we have 1 squared, or 1, minus 3 times 1 plus 2, which is 0. If x equals 2, we get y equals 4 minus 6 plus 2, which equals 0. And if x equals 3, we get y equals 9 minus 9 plus 2 equals 2. So we can plot those points now. If x equals 0, y equals 2. If x equals 1, y equals 0. If x equals 2, y also equals 0. And if x equals 3, y equals 2. Since we have a quadratic equation, we know this will be a parabola, so we can connect the dots like so. And then to find the solution, we find where the graph crosses the x-axis, which happens right here at x equals 1, and right here at x equals 2, which means our solution is x equals 1 and x equals 2. Now we're doing the same thing, but with factoring. We're going to start with the same first equation. So we have x squared minus 3x equals negative 2. Add 2 to both sides, giving us x squared minus 3x plus 2 equals 0. Now we can factor. And we factor just like we usually do by looking at the coefficients and the signs. So we have the coefficient of x squared is 1, so we just have 1 times 1. And the coefficient of 2 is 2, and it's the constant, so the factors into 1 and 2. We know that we're going to be looking for something of the form x and plus or minus some number, and times x plus or minus another number. Since we want a negative 3 on the inside and a positive 2, a negative 3 in the middle and a positive 2 on the right hand side, we know that our signs are going to have to be negative each, because negative plus a negative gives us the negative, but a negative times a negative gives us the positive. And since 2 only factors into 1 times 2, we know that this will be 1, that will be 2. And we can check that using FOIL. First gives us x squared. Outer gives us minus 2x. Inner gives us minus x. Last gives us plus 2, which is x squared minus 3x plus 2, which is the original equation. So we know that x squared minus 3x equals negative 2 can factor into x minus 1 times x minus 2. And we know that we can solve these by setting them equal to 0. So x minus 1 equals 0 and x minus 2 equals 0. Solving each for x gives us x equals 1 and x equals 2, which is the same thing that we got above. So we can see that the solutions to an equation are the same thing as the zeros on a graph and the zeros are where the graph or the curve crosses the x-axis. So that's how those two different things relate, and either is a very good way of finding the solution. The first method gives you a good idea of what the picture is you're looking at, and the second method is a little bit faster, assuming you're good at factoring. So both will get you the same answer in the long run.